And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for this must take place, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation. Matthew 24, 6 through 7a. In the context of Jesus talking about the end times, he mentions that there will be wars and rumors of wars, and that one nation will rise against another nation. We have certainly experienced all of these conditions in the attack on Israel and the subsequent declaration of war by Israel against Hamas. So what are we to do as Christians living halfway around the world from the fighting and violence that has broken out on the border of Israel and Palestine? We can allow our hearts to be broken as we see the atrocities carried out against innocent, often defenseless human lives. We can pray for God to bring peace to that region and for justice to prevail. We can pray that somehow, some way, God can use even the atrocities of war for good, that people might be drawn to Him in the midst of evil. The passage in Matthew 24 makes it clear that in the end times, God's people are going to be tested. The testing will cause some to fall away and cause others to grow even stronger in their faith. We can pray that God will help us to stand strong in the midst of the testing, and that God will use us to help others keep the faith during the time of testing that will most assuredly increase as the days go by. How do we stand strong in the face of persecution? By taking up the whole armor of God listed in Ephesians 6:10 through 20, and by putting ourselves in the places that God has promised to be at work and strengthen our faith, including the reading of the Bible, hearing the preaching of God's Word, participating in the Lord's Supper, and sharing in the mutual conversation and consolation of the brethren, fellowship with God's people, etc. Are we living in the end times? And will Christ return at any moment? That we don't know. As Jesus describes some of the conditions that will be true prior to His return, He tells His followers, but the end is not yet. However, God's people have always been encouraged to live as though Christ's return is imminent. The words of Jesus are just as poignant today as the day He spoke them when He encouraged His followers to watch and pray. May we watch and pray as we await Christ's promised return. Press on in the Lord.